Atul.
नमस्कार मंडळी, तुमचं ह्या सेशनमध्ये सगळ्यांचं मनःपूर्वक स्वागत आहे. आपल्याला माहितीच आहे की इन पर्सन इव्हेंट्स करणं किती अवघड आहे आणि त्याच वेळेला वेगवेगळ्या नवीन गोष्टी सुद्धा आपल्याला शिकायला मिळायला पाहिजेत असा विचार करून या WMI कमिटीनं चला एकत्र शिकूया, वी शॅल लर्न टुगेदर हा इनिशिएटिव्ह घेतला आणि त्याच्यापैकी पहिलं पुष्प आपण आज करणार आहोत, ज्याचं नाव आहे AI म्हणजे काय, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स म्हणजे काय, किंवा कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता म्हणजे काय. कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता याचा रेफरन्स आपल्याला खूप पुराण काळापासून आढळतो, पण ऍक्च्युली कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता किंवा AI चा उल्लेख पहिल्यांदा हा ॲलन ट्युरिंग नावाच्या शास्त्रज्ञाने केला. त्यानं ट्युरिंग मशीन नावाची थिअरी मांडली, ज्याच्यामध्ये त्यांचं असं म्हणणं होतं की ते मशीन स्वतःला रिप्रोड्यूस करू शकेल. आणि हे तुम्हाला सांगत असताना मला एक अतिशय महत्वाची गोष्ट सांगावीशी वाटते. तुम्हाला सगळ्यांना डॉक्टर जयंत नारळीकर माहिती असतील, त्यांचं नाव माहिती असेल तर ते विज्ञान कथा पण लिहायचे. तर त्यांची एक विज्ञान कथा आहे, वामन परत न आला. तर त्याच्यामध्ये अशी एक कन्सेप्ट आहे की बेंगलोरच्या जवळ एका ठिकाणी उत्खनन करत असताना शास्त्रज्ञांना एक पेटी सापडते आणि ती पेटी बाहेर काढल्यानंतर त्यांना त्याच्यावर स्वतःला तयार करणारे कॉम्प्युटर कसे तयार करायचे याचा लेख लिहिलेला असतो. आणि मग त्यांनी खूप ते छान रंगवत नेलंय की मग ते सायंटिस्ट ते तयार करतात आणि मग त्याचा काय परिणाम होतो, आणखीन मग ते स्वतःला उद्ध्वस्त करण्याकरता म्हणून काय करतात. तर ते खूप सुंदर गोष्ट आहे. पण ऍक्च्युली आपण जे म्हणतो की आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स ची कन्सेप्ट साधारणपणे 1950च्या दरम्यान अस्तित्वात आली आणि ती आता सतत वाढतीये आणि 2020 पासून त्याचा इतक्या जोरात विकास होतोय की त्याच्या स्पीड आपल्याला ग्रास करणं खूप अवघड आहे. आणि म्हणून आम्ही असं ठरवलं की हा एक टॉपिक घेऊन वेगवेगळ्या फील्ड मधल्या काम करणाऱ्या लोकांना एकत्र आणायचं आणि त्यांच्या दृष्टिकोनातून खूप टेक्निकॅलिटी मध्ये न जाता त्यांच्या दृष्टिकोनातून AI म्हणजे काय, सर्वसाधारण माणसाला कळेल अशा भाषेत AI म्हणजे काय हे समजून घ्यायचं. काही आपल्याकडे डेमॉन्स्ट्रेशन पण लोकांनी केलेली आहेत, अत्यंत सोपी आणखी सुंदर डेमॉन्स्ट्रेशन अशी आहेत. आणि तुम्ही फॉर्म भरले त्याच्याबद्दल खूप खूप धन्यवाद. त्याचे प्रश्न सुद्धा आम्ही लक्षात घेतलेले आहेत. तर आपण या सगळ्यांचं स्वागत करूया. ह्या पॅनेल आणखी सिलेक्शन पासून हे प्रेझेंटेशन करण्यामध्ये सुनील वडनेरकरांनी खूप मोठा हातभार लावलेला आहे. आणखीन सुनीलचं काम खरोखरच अतिशय वाखाणण्याजोगं आहे. सो थँक्यू सुनील, अँड ओव्हर टू यू. He will be running the session with all the panelists. So thank you all the panelists. Thank you Sunil, and over to you.
Thank you, Atul. So let's get started. So overall agenda for today is Atul's introduction, of course, and I'm going to set the scene about 8-10 minutes maybe, and then we will have a panel discussion. Now that's the most important and the highlight of the session, and we'll also have hopefully enough time for questions from the audience or any comments as well, and closing. So AI is going to take over. I think this is one of the catchy thing I sent in one of my communications. So I thought, okay, let me just test AI. So I got AI to generate a joke. AI म्हणजे काय माहिती आहे का? विद्यार्थी म्हणाला, हो सर, आई बाबांचं नवीन वर्षन आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स, काहीही विचारा आणि उत्तर लगेच. Of course, after seeing this joke, I thought maybe AI is not going to take over so fast. I think it's got a long way to go in terms of jokes maybe. But very interesting that it managed to link Pula Deshpande, because I had asked for joke in Marathi and it managed to link it. So I think it's getting there. So I think hence why we are here today to learn AI. Now, thank you very much for everyone and our panelists to attend the session. It's weekdays, and thank you for making time. Those of you who don't know me, I am Sunil Vadnerkar. I work in the data and AI field currently, and personally, I have got a lot of interest in AI. So Atul, who sparked this idea for WAMI, When he mentioned that we should do something, I was quite keen. And fortunately, I was also supported by a lot of people in the community who agreed to be on the panel. So our idea is that we will be talking here in terms of the AI in a broadest sense. And it's, even though it's a technical field, we'll try and keep it non-technical. And idea is to just kind of look at from a usage perspective, use cases, and in general, what are the benefits and risks and those kind of things. Some disclaimers, as usual, we should always have. Uh, none of none of us is AI expert. And I know for sure there are people in our own Wellington community who are actually doing quite a lot of technical AI work, including some people on the panel. Um, but here we are not actually going to go technical deep dive, and maybe there will be opportunity if there is enough interest to do more such sessions and a slightly more specific field as well. The main objective is really to share our understanding that we have individually, and together we can learn and collaborate. And lastly, we are doing this in our personal capacity only, so it's nothing to do with our work or anything like that. So, and we'll try not to cover any specific aspects of our work as well, because they can be sometimes commercially sensitive or whatever. Okay, so behind the scene, in addition to Atul's help, Abhishek is doing timekeeping, and we have certain amount of time allocated for the people on the panel, and I will introduce them shortly. And Anurag is helping with the question answer side, as well as some of the other logistics. And there have been other people within the committee itself who have helped quite a lot as well. So a bit of housekeeping. I think people are already doing very well. So keeping your microphone on mute unless you're speaking. Video is recommended, but up to you. And panelists will have the video on. And ideally, hold your questions and comments till the Q&A time. Just gives us an opportunity to kind of get our content out there first. But there is some burning question. Feel free to raise your hand. Right. So I think this is already hopefully clear from our communication what we're looking to do. The main thing here is we picked up people from within our community from different perspectives and from different fields. And that way we get kind of understanding of how AI is starting to influence people's lives already, and also what people think that what's going to happen. And it's a lot of things are evolving, so it's anyone's guess, as good as. So together shall we learn? Okay, let's get started. So I want to introduce our panelists. So I'm not going to go individually here, but we've got we're fortunate that we have three young community members here: Antara Joshi, Jay Deshpande, and Sumedh. And in addition, we have Jitendra Hushare, Sachin Shankar Pawar, Sushant Thatte, and Shantanu Kirtikar. As we go through the panel, I think we have, this is an idea that we have, and we kind of going to conduct it like a panel discussion. This is our first attempt, so it's not going to be necessarily perfect. But during that process, people can introduce themselves, and I'm going to try and facilitate, and hopefully we are able to have enough opportunity for everyone to cover their content. And Abhishek is going to do the timekeeping for this part. So before we get into the panel discussion part, I just want to set the scene, and there are a few things that I do want to cover because that will possibly help the discussion as well. So AI म्हणजे नक्की काय? आता हे मी AI लाच विचारलं नॅचरली, तर AIचं उत्तर बरोबर आहे. AI म्हणजे संगणकाला माणसासारखं विचार करायला शिकवणं. Basically, to teach computer to think like human being, and that's the main change in terms of. So AI has been around in some shape or form for many years. but now it's really starting to think like human beings, and hence, this explanation sort of makes sense. By the way, I call ChatGPT guru, so that's how I'm building relationship with ChatGPT. Now, if you were to explain what exactly is AI, I think you can come up with hundreds of different definitions, but depends on audience. So for a child, you will say maybe AI is like a robo brain that learns to help you, like suggesting what cartoon to watch. Parents, or general any layperson, we have seen, voice assistants, smart photo albums, and all those things, and recommendations, Netflix recommendations that you get. There's AI built into all of those. For senior people, you can have a lot of smart helpers, and that's where again there is AI. And I just want to tell a little bit of a story. My mother, who never used any computer or smartphone even, when Alexa came, she just got onto that technology so easily because of the voice interaction. And every Saturday she will say, Alexa, Shani Mahatmala. And basically, I think she just enjoyed it so much that even Alexa became Alexa for her. She Indianized it. So I think technology, as we know, has a way of creating, even playing field, whether across people or cultures or countries, and so on. So I think no matter how old we are or how young we are, we should not say that AI is not something we should not learn. It's too complex. Nothing is too complex, because if anything, it actually can make things simpler for us. Professional perspective, AI is software that learns patterns from data, and makes predictions and decisions, often better than fixed rules. So the big question is, why should we really care? And I think the answer is probably clear to most people who are, coming across it day in, day out. Is very disruptive, right? Um, and it's rapid growth happening. We have the right ingredients at the moment in terms of the data and the cloud scale and the compute and storage being abundant. And it is going to affect our personal and professional lives in many, many ways for better, but there are also risks and issues that we'll talk about. Now, here, okay, how are we doing with time? So, Abhishek, I will take another 3 or 4 minutes if that's okay within our time, I think. So there are lots of terms that you hear, but I'm using this kind of iceberg view, as in, you know, what you see above the water is kind of what we really need to be concerned about as individuals who use AI. So right at the top of the iceberg is we've got AI applications, end user tools. So you've got chatbots or recommendation systems or virtual assistants like Alexa or Google Appliance and so on. So this is how you interact with it. And that's what kind of matters from end user perspective, basically full stop. If you were to stop there, that's it. But behind the scene, there are quite a few things going on, and below the water, of course, there is a lot of technology and science that goes behind this. So I think just briefly, it's important to cover a few of these terms. So when you are interacting with any AI tool like ChatGPT or Copilot or anything like that, prompt engineering is something, how you describe your request. And again, I would say more descriptive you are, better it is. And what you want, what you don't want, is almost like, when we get shopping lists from our partner, they will say, get this, but don't get this. So you sometimes have to actually prompt it very clearly in terms of what you want, what you not want, or you don't want. Um, so basically being very descriptive, and it's there is science to it, hence it's actually called prompt engineering. So that's how you give commands to AI tools. Now, you may have also heard a term called Gen AI. So that's another subset of AI, which is basically generative AI, which is allowing us to generate content. So this is where it can generate text, it can generate images, videos, audio, make music, whatever, those kinds of things. So those are the key sort of end user terminology. Behind the scene, if you just want to know at a high level, is the key thing is there are foundation models. For text-based models, they are called large language models, LLMs. But these foundation models are generally, very resource intensive, takes a lot of time to put them together, and hence big companies are putting these together. And they are generalized model. This is how then some end user tools can be built on top of that. Now, something we will cover later in the session, Jitendra is going to cover, it's possible for you to put these foundation models to specific purpose, and he will show an example of that as well. There's a lot of data that goes behind the scene to train these models, and hence it is very important that we don't actually put a lot of any sensitive data when you're querying and so on. But behind the scene models require a lot of effort in terms of training it, and that's how it actually is able to be intelligent. That's pretty much it. So it's not possible to cover all of these terms, but yeah, this is some of the terminology you will hear as part of AI. And I'm going to share this PowerPoint presentation anyway, so you can take a deeper look at your own time, and in fact, ask AI about these terms as well. So now to the main part, the panel discussion. I'm going to go around the table, starting with our youngest panelist here, Antara. So we have posed kind of three key questions to the panelists. And to the panelists, I say, you choose whether you want to cover all these three in sort of one go, or cover one at a time. We're going to keep it a little bit informal, and as you see, up to you really. And those three being, what does AI mean to you in your field, in your perspective? What sort of real AI use cases or usages that you have come across? How is it influencing your personal or professional life, and benefits and any pitfalls or risks? And thirdly, how do we prepare for future? And again, there's quite a lot here, and we don't have that much time. So let's just get started. If we don't cover all of them, we can come back with another session later on. Right. So Antara, can I request you to please introduce yourself and share your content, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is Antara Joshi. I am currently a year 13 high school student. And in today's panel, I've split my discussion into three categories, like mentioned previously. The first part I'm going to talk about is how me as a high school student, how I utilize AI in my daily life. The second one is going to be about the positive and negative impacts of AI. And the third point is about where I think AI will take us into the future. So I think that AI is becoming more and more relevant in our daily lives. And as a high school student who is part of the newer generation, I think it's really important that we understand what AI exactly is and how in the future we can prepare ourselves better to utilize it. So for my discussion today, I hope that I can provide some insight on this and how we as a community can better prepare for AI in the future for the needs of the next generation. So to start off with, I will be covering what does AI mean for me. So I view AI as a tool that is built with the same characteristics or has the same attributes as humans. So whether that be through decision-making, comprehension, interpretation, analysis, it is able to provide knowledge and guidance on a wide range of topics through this. So currently, the way I utilize AI is very basic. One thing to note is AI is very broad. I'm sure the panelists will go into that further on. But right now, as a high school student, I only use AI chatbox mostly. Chatbot for educational purposes for doing my schoolwork. And in the past, I've also used Duolingo and Quizlet when I was learning a language. I've also used ChatGPT that provided me with a mock interview when I was applying for my job. So I just typed in what are some questions that they could ask for a swimming instructor role, and then it came with a series of questions that helped me better prepare for my role. So below over here, I've provided an example of how I would use AI chatbot if I need if I have to ask a question related to my schoolwork. So very simple. If I just put down what is electromagnetic induction in NCEA Level 3 Physics, and can you provide some resources for me? Very basic question. So already AI chatbot has given me a series of videos. It also can detect what type of achievement standard it is. And over here, then it goes into quite a bit of detail. So what exactly is electromagnetic induction? It goes into detail with simple words, the key concepts that you'll learn. It provides a range of study resources and video tutorials. And at the bottom also provided is another screenshot which shows AI chatbot actually asking further questions, like, can you explain this more in detail? So it's not just limited to what you have asked. It also allows you to go into depth if you quite haven't understood it yet, or if you need further information. So I think AI chatbot is a really useful tool. It is very accessible. If you have a question, you can immediately just put it in and you get the answers you need for anything you ask. AI chatbot puts it in a really simple words that helps you better understand it. And also, if you have any more doubts or if you don't quite understand it, it can also go into more detail. This has really helped me to strengthen the quality of my schoolwork. And it's a great thing that it's very accessible, so I can use it anytime. So the next thing that I'll be going into is what's possible with AI and what are the risks. So starting off with the positives of AI, one main positive thing is the 24/7 accessibility of academic support. So nowadays, the most common thing that the way that students utilize AI is through academic support. And there are so many different type AI websites available, whether it be Grammarly, Quizlet, Duolingo, Google Translate. They're all available online. You can access them whenever you need to. If you're stuck with something, simply go online, type it up, and you can get all the help you need. You can get your helpful homework through there, and also there's also resources for tutoring there, so students can also get tutoring. The benefit of this is that it boosts independence, so you are able to take actions for your own study without too much reliance on the teacher. So whenever you have any doubts, it is available for you, and you can just lead your own study. Another positive about AI is the personalized learning. So it's on-demand learnings for all ages, easy access, and I've provided two examples. So the first one is from Quizlet. So this is when I was learning a language. These websites are able to adjust the lessons based on the students' strengths, weaknesses, and any needs. So it suits all different types of learning styles. So whether you're a visual learner, whether you're an audio learner, or whether you're you like to do hands-on activities. So here, Quizlet has different types. So flashcards, blocks, blast, test, match. So if you are an audio learner, you can use the learn button, so you can learn through watching videos. Flashcards, test, and match is more if you like to do hands-on activities and you learn better that way. And blocks is, I think, a video that is provided. And same with Khan Academy down here. There's some videos given about describing motion, and there's some ways we can do it if you prefer hands-on activities, so like proper worksheets. Now coming to the risks of AI. So as well as the benefits of AI also comes with a lot of risks, especially for high school students. So as you may know, high school students spend most of their time on social media. So we are very, very exposed to misinformation and deep fakes. So misinformation just being information that is false, and deepfakes are actually videos or images produced that have an image of another person for something that is clearly false. So usually deepfakes are used to create fake explicit images of students, and usually young people fall prey to this, especially girls. And I think this is very harmful. So the serious consequences of this could be mental health issues. You know, students could fall into shame, trauma, depression, and it also impacts the way other people see you, and also it impacts the way you perceive yourself, which is a very harmful consequence. Also, another risk of AI is over-reliance and the reduction of critical thinking. So just the other day, I had a friend who's quoted, "I feel like ChatGPT is my new teacher." And this shows the scale of how much ChatGPT and AI in general has taken over our lives. So as well as the accessibility of AI being really good, I believe too much accessibility is also not a good thing. So she even went as far as putting a whole English essay into ChatGPT and asking for a grade because she did not trust her teacher, but she instead decided to trust AI. So this is the over-reliance aspect of it, which is a risk. And also it can lead to your reduction of critical thinking. So the idea that we're not able to think for ourselves. And any question we have, anything we need to know, we just think that we can just put it in AI because we'll get the answer for it. So the harmful consequence of this is risks of cheating. So for example, for schoolwork, there are so many people that just generate essays through AI. And luckily, schools do have systems in place where they can easily catch people that are cheating. But this shows an immense reduction of critical thinking because everyone just, without thinking, just says, "Oh, I can put this into AI and I'll get everything I need." So this is one of the risks of AI, is the reduction of critical thinking. And lastly, how can we prepare for the future? And this is going to be said through a high school student perspective. So the first thing is understanding and implementing AI ethical practices. So what are AI ethical practices? AI ethics is basically just the act of using AI respectfully, fairly, safely, and thinking about the broader societal impacts before you use AI. And I think this is really important for high school students because we're in a world where we're all around AI. And when we are older, AI is going to basically be taking over the world. So it's important that we understand and implement these now. So we need to ensure as high school students that we avoid misuse like plagiarism. We are protecting our privacy on social media. We are using AI to learn, not to cheat. So let it guide your thinking, but don't let it take over your critical thinking. That's an important mindset to have. Also, continuing to use your critical thinking so you aren't vulnerable to falling into traps and manipulations of AI, because AI is just not all good. There's also bad AI. And reduction of critical thinking can really make you more susceptible to falling trapped into the bad side of AI, like deepfakes and misinformation on social media. And for example, in a basic way, an ethical way of using AI would just simply be using ChatGPT to brainstorm your ideas, but making sure that the final draft is yours and it's not copied. It's a very basic ethic practice. The second point is to understand that AI isn't just technical, it is deeply human. And I'm going to talk about why the common misconception that it will take over jobs in our world is wrong, and how we can use this to work alongside AI, not against AI. So as a high school student, and I've experienced this myself, is a very common misconception that AI is going to take all jobs in our world. So when I was preparing to understand what I want to do in the future, I came across a lot of instances. For example, when I was thinking of doing accounting, so many people come to me and they say, "Oh, don't take accounting." Why? Because AI is going to take over accounting. There'll be no accounting left. You'll have no jobs. But I think it's important that we understand that AI is only technical. It is good at the technical things, but AI does not demonstrate the human qualities that we have within us. For example, emotional intelligence, creativity and originality, and ethical decision making. AI cannot take over this because it is simply not built to. And we also have to know that AI, behind AI is humans. AI is the way it is because it is created by humans. And what is the point of AI? To demonstrate human attributes. So AI can never really take over our world. I can admit that yes, AI will help us to evolve. It will evolve jobs and it will guide and automate jobs, but it will never take over this world. So I think the one thing for high school students to take away from this would be to work alongside AI, not against AI. So treat AI like your friend. You know, take advantage of AI. Use the good sides of AI to, you know, in your to become a better high schooler, to excel in university, and to become a better candidate for jobs. And don't go near the bad side of AI. Use the good AI for your advantage, but don't think of it as a bad thing. Do not go against AI. So I think that would be my main advice for other high school
Cool.
students. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Antara. That was awesome. Yeah. Big round of applause for Antara. So now I would like to invite Jay Deshpande. And Jay, you want to share the screen as well. Jay is systems engineer, and he will have his perspective as a young professional, how he's coming across AI. Over to you, Jay.
Thank you. So just making sure everyone can see that.
Yep.
Perfect. So that was a great presentation by Antara. I'm just gonna add a couple of thoughts to it as well. So AI is a rapidly transforming our world. It's permeating every aspect of our daily lives. It's reshaping industries and fundamentally altering the global landscape. So to truly grasp the significance of it, we kind of have to understand what AI is, how it functions, and the benefits and challenges that it presents. So just looking into a very basic part of it, what is intelligence? So let's start at what's data. So data at its most basic, it refers to raw unprocessed facts, figures, symbols. So something like a temperature readout. It essentially answers the who, what, where, and when. Sorry, that's information. So once we give it context, we get information, which is the who, what, where, and when. Moving on from that, we have knowledge. So knowledge goes a step further. It's the understanding derived from the information, applying experience, context, interpretation to make sense of patterns and relationships. So if the weather report consistently shows rising temperatures and low rainfall, knowing this could lead to the knowledge that a drought is likely. So knowledge kind of helps us answer the how and why. And then moving on into intelligence. Intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. So it involves reasoning, problem solving, learning from experience, adapting to new situations, and understanding complex ideas. In the context of AI, intelligence refers to the machine's capacity to perform tasks that typically require human cognitive abilities. So drawing upon processed data, information, and knowledge. So moving through that, we kind of have to look at, well, there's AI in the corporate world, there's AI in our personal lives, and then there's AI in sort of the global landscape. Personal uses, it's enhanced convenience. We use it in things like managing our schedules, playing music, so Siri, Google Assistant, Spotify all use it. Our social media engine is based on AI. It's being used for improved health and well-being. So AI-powered wearables track fitness and health metrics. They offer insights and personalized coaching. Also in early disease detection. So that's coming through the health industry now. We use it for smarter homes and personalized learning, like Andra said. There are obviously pitfalls for that. So there's privacy concerns. So AI systems rely on vast amounts of personal data. So it kind of raises questions about your data security, privacy breaches, and how our data is being used and shared. There's also algorithmic bias. So if the data that the AI is being trained on, it reflects current societal biases, and within our social media feed, we can kind of lean into echo chambers where we're only seeing personalized content recommendations that cause filter bubbles, limiting the exposure to more diverse perspectives and reinforcing existing beliefs. But you have to look at how we're using it. So those are potential pitfalls, but if we use it properly and use it to our benefit, like Andra said, there are definite benefits to using AI. And a lot of you will see this in your day-to-day workplace. So there's increased efficiency and automation being brought in. So there's AI that automates repetitive and time-consuming tasks, from data entry to customer service, like chatbots, to manufacturing and logistics, and it frees the human employees for more complex and creative work. It's used for enhanced decision-making because an AI algorithm can analyze massive data sets to identify patterns, predict trends, and offer insights that humans potentially might miss, because we do miss things when large amounts of information are thrown at us. It's improving customer service. So call centers used to only be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Using AI, some of these chatbots can answer the basic questions 24/7. It's also being used for innovation of new products and services. It enables the creation of entirely new products, and it drives innovation across a lot of industries, including from autonomous vehicles to advancing vaccine and drug discovery. And there's cost savings. So for businesses, they're saving a huge amount of money on the cost they spend processing large amounts of data. Again, pitfalls for these things: job displacement, there's high implementation costs, there's issues with the data quality and governance. So if the data is no good that supports the AI model, your result isn't going to be any good. And there's complexity and explainability. So this is where a lot of people have issues, where AI is essentially a black box. No one knows what it's being built on. And it makes it difficult for society to understand how the AIs arrived at their conclusions, which can be problematic, especially in regulated industries or when accountability is crucial.
Cool.
The final thing I really want to talk about is the difference between AI and human intelligence. So there's a concept of nature versus nurture that everyone mostly knows about. So in the context of AI, nature is its programming and architecture, its inherent design and architecture of the AI system. This is the pre-programmed foundation and rules and structures that define how the AI will process information. Nurture, on the other hand, is how the AI refers to the vast amounts of data the AI is exposed to during its training phase. Through the data, the AI learns patterns, makes connections, refines internal parameters, just as human experiences shape our intelligence. Where there are drawbacks is the emotional intelligence and empathy. So humans, we possess emotions, empathy, and consciousness, which are crucial for navigating complex social interactions, understanding nuances, and making ethically informed decisions. So AI, when simulating empathy, does not genuinely feel or experience emotions. Common sense and intuition. Human intelligence often relies on common sense, intuitive leaps, and tacit knowledge, gained through lived experience. AI, while capable of complex reasoning, struggles with abstract concepts, ambiguous situations, and the broad intuitive understanding that underpins human common sense. Also with creativity and originality. For example, an AI can generate a novel or a story or a book based on patterns that it knows. But humans with true creativity, they can break from the established norms and conceptualize entirely new ideas and express profound originality, which AI at the moment currently can't do. And then embodiment and sensory experiences. Human intelligence is deeply intertwined with our physical bodies and sensory experiences. AI typically operates only in a digital realm. And while robotics can provide some of this physical interaction, it lacks a holistic, embodied experience of being human. So just some of the things that you guys should have a look at. It's definitely something we should use to improve on, help us. In the end, it is a machine. It's there to help us do work faster, better, more creatively. It's also a societal transformation. It holds immense potential to enhance our lives, revolutionize industries, and address pressing global challenges. But we do have to be mindful of its development and deployment, which also necessitate careful consideration of the ethical, social, and economic implications. So by understanding the core concepts of data, information, knowledge, and intelligence, and recognizing the benefits and pitfalls, we can really improve and harness AI's power for the betterment of everyone. So yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Jay. Again, another very well presented and researched topic. And like you said, that the explainable AI is still not there. Maybe it's coming up. Anyway, now I would like to invite our another young IT professional, Sumedh. He is a data scientist working in that field. So yes, Sumedh, do you want to just talk through, or do you have any screen to share?
Yeah,
what would you like?
I've just whipped something up just
Okay,
based
cool.
on something that
Hmm.
Jay sort of prompted me to show. So you saw something quite similar on from what Jay just saw, and I really want to sort of double down on that and show an example of sort of how I used AI recently for my job, and essentially the problems and the issues that I have with what I ended up having to do. So as Jay quite rightly pointed out, there is a very clear hierarchy and pyramid with data and how it is processed and what you do when you collate it, connect it, form it, and then actually figure out what to do with it. And computers very generally at this stage, and have been for a very long time, very good at collating and collecting data and information. My job tends to have most of that done for me, the collecting and the connecting part. So I tend to get to focus on the cool bits, which are higher up on this pyramid as to how something is happening, why something is happening, why something is happening for good, for bad, why isn't it happening, and then what is the best way to do next. And I think a good example of this was that I use AI quite frequently in my job. Literally, most of my day is spent coding and programming. And within that, at work, we have GitHub Copilot. So quite similar to other Copilots and other different forms of AI, it effectively understands exactly the kinds of coding and stylistic I guess mannerisms that I exhibit when I write code. So that might mean when I'm writing a certain line of code, I could capitalize a lot, or I could leave everything lowercase. And it is very good at recognizing repetitive patterns and then extrapolating them based on what it already knows. The key part of that statement is it can only extrapolate based on what it knows. You can ask it to create, but it is not actually creating. It may look like it, but the key thing is that it's creating things that are new to you, and that's just because you haven't seen them. It has seen them. And everyone is quite rightly capable of critical thought yet. That's why you have a lot of these AI companies spending borderline trillions of dollars into researching or going for Gen AI, or which is effectively what they seem to believe is the first AI that is capable of critical thought. There is a thing called the Turing test, which basically determines if something is a robot or not. And I guess the idea is to pass said test. But the key thing is here, a lot of where they're getting tripped up and what makes humans human and what differentiates AI and everything that you see in maybe just like all of those apps that you already have and have been using for years upon years, and suddenly you see an AI feature. That is everyone, for more or less, jumping on the bandwagon of AI, and they might have very good reason to do so. But I would ask all of you to be skeptical of all of those things and question whether they are just collecting and connecting the parts of their data that they already know about you, or even just providing you this, which might be valuable. But I can almost guarantee you that almost none of them are doing the real important stuff, which is joining things as a whole. And when you sort of start to see these things cropping up, and I think I've seen it quite a lot in the last few months, definitely in the last few years, it's quite concerning, and you have every right to be skeptical, and I would encourage you to do so. I am quite skeptical of those things. And when I had to use AI recently, I tend to only use it for doing the things that I really would rather not do and that are quite repetitive or monotonous. And I got a very good question from one of my colleagues, if they could explain exactly how we determine a certain speciality of data. And in reality, the code is extremely simple. It is as simple as a first line of saying, if this condition is true, then the result is false. And if not, move on to check the second condition. And all it is a sequence of those. And this is repeated for about 30 different conditions. And all of them are, a lot of them are dependent upon previous conditions, etc. But you would expect that AI is capable of, if I ask it to collate all of this information and process that data into a human readable format, my hope for good AI is that I don't have to spend the time typing out the explanation and ensuring it's correct, double checking that I'm not providing the wrong information to my colleagues, and therefore either exacerbating a lack of knowledge on their end. That's the reason that they're asking for this information. They're trying to clarify, they're trying to learn. I want to make sure I'm not giving them the wrong answer. And my favorite thing that I learned at uni from one of my lecturers was garbage in, garbage out. I feel like that is the best possible explanation for AI. You give it garbage, you parrot the garbage, that's all it's going to come out. And when I asked it to evaluate these quite human readable and human understandable sets of conditions, it was actually quite unable to accurately, to my standard, accurately output a suitable explanation. And I gave it a go, because the reason I didn't want to do it is because it was boring, it was monotonous, and it took me 30 minutes to make sure it was right. And AI has the value of saving that. So if I can ensure that it's going to give me the correct answer, and it will only take me 5 minutes, then that is value. And I see AI having that value, and I see eventually it getting there. But I don't see it ever, at least not based on what's publicly known to me, when or if it will ever make this sort of jump and actually start providing the wisdom. And Jay made a very good point to this as well. We live in a physical society, AI doesn't. The most physical connection it has is the cooling of its servers. That takes a lot of water.
Yeah.
It runs hot.
Mm.
And it is a key piece of information that differentiates, I think, everyone and what AI is capable of. And so I think I'd ask everyone to keep this in mind and be open-minded about it, but also be quite rightly skeptical. That's me.
Cool. Thanks, Sumedh. I mean, at some stage in future, would love to hear more about you, because you're really working at the coalface, and we are starting to see businesses making decisions using AI, and it will be great to know what kinds of decisions they are making.
Yeah.
But anyway, we don't have that much time today. So now I
Yes.
would like to invite Sushant. Now, Sushant, apart from being a seasoned HR manager, he's also an investment enthusiast, and he would like to talk about what he is doing with AI in that field. So over to you, Sushant.
Thank you, Sunil.
Yeah.
After the 3 absolutely stunning presentations, I feel extremely underprepared. So
All good.
I'll whip something up pretty impromptu.
Yeah.
And listening to Subedh, I had actually written somewhere on my screen, garbage in, garbage out. This is what I want to use. But this has already been used. This is the negative of being down the line, right? But anyway, questions were, what does AI mean to me, right? The first one. Sunil, will you want me to go through all the 3 questions in one go, or what would you prefer? Now, first 3.
I think maybe just I think we are running a little bit behind
I'll be
time.
quick. I will take
So
4 to 6
yeah,
minutes.
so as much as you can
Yeah.
in sort of
Perfect.
3-5 minutes, maybe.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So perfect. So what does AI mean to me? AI mean to me, right? So before that, let's understand what it does not mean to me. So it is not a magic box. Okay, it is not a robotic sci-fi Terminator kind of a movie for me. It is not a better version of Google. It is not a better version of Wikipedia either. Right? It is, to me, and again, from a very non-technical layman's language, I look at AI as that genie which comes out of the lamp, right? And this is where I want to use the garbage in, garbage out, because the last time I heard was in 1993, where I was still in school and computers got introduced. So when you rub the lamp, the genie comes out. It just grants you the wish that you ask for. It doesn't think what you're asking. It doesn't think what you don't want. It doesn't think what else will you want, right? So what you provide is what you will get. So that brings me to the concept of the prompt, which I also touched upon. So, of course, that is much wider prompt engineering, and you also touched upon, Sunil. But what you ask, how you ask, is extremely important to get the right answer that you want back. So what is AI for me? So AI is that particular a buddy, or I would call it a personal assistant who has the ability to do whatever humanly I am not able to do, which is research thousands and hundreds and thousands of papers for me, research papers for me, and give me a very succinct, clear answer. Do I trust that answer blindly? No, I don't. Right? Mainly, what I've experienced is I cannot trust any kind of AI, and I use the Gemini paid version for it. When it comes to figures, numbers, it goes completely blank. It gives me random numbers. So I always have to check and double check. So that's what does AI mean to me, right? It is more of an assistant who is a 15-year-old, 20-year-old, 25 years old, who's not very experienced, but has the capacity and capability of browsing through thousands of sites and stuff.
These are
Moving-
investment related news articles or something you're talking about?
Everything. So I'll come to that. The second
Right.
part is, where do I use it?
Mhm.
Now, I use it for 3 reasons. Now, apart from my bread and butter 9 to 5 job, which happens to be in the field of HR, where of course I use Copilot. But apart from that, I do have a life where I'm, an active investor, stock market trader. I love that field. Second area which I really like is the geopolitics of the world. What is happening, more than what is happening, why it is happening, connecting the dots, what are the cash flows and stuff like that. So if you're okay, I would like to share my screen
Mhm.
and coming to the prompt, and I can go, in these 3 areas as to what I do. Select a tab. Okay. Is this visible?
Yep, coming up.
Okay, perfect. Right. So this is what I use in the what should I say? I'm here. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure it out where I am.
You're
All right. Are
seeing
you
that
able to see the prompt for Kutniti daily briefing?
prompt for global chessboard
Okay.
and prompt for the blue title is
Okay. Once again,
machine
I'm
dossier
not
2.0.
sharing. Give me just a second. Wait, I should have been more prepared with this. And now I have lost the Google meeting.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. It
Here it
works
is.
quite differently compared to
Oh, it
Teams.
does, it does. Because I
Yeah.
was trying to share one of my screens which I had open, but then
Yeah.
and I have got the 10 screens open. Let me
Ask
try.
AI to investigate what's gone wrong.
Ask AI to investigate. Did you
What's
say?
gone wrong?
What's going wrong, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hopefully, okay. Excellent. Hopefully this should work. Is my screen visible
Yeah.
yet? Not yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask
Cool.
Gemini. Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So I've prepared certain prompts which I use, right? Now, in my first area of work, which is the stock market analysis, right? There are usually 2 main criterias. One is the technical analysis side of things, and one is fundamental analysis side of things. Technical analysis is easier. I can, see the charts. I can look at the price levels, etc., etc. However, fundamental analysis is the difficult part of it. What does company do? What is it into? What is the the recent conference calls? What have they announced? Are there any orders? There are 500 different things that you need to look at. What kind of an industry? What are the tailwinds? What are the headwinds, etc., etc. So I've kind of prepared a prompt for it where I asked the Gemini, and I have kind of given it information around how do I want them to, the Gemini to actually use it. So once I give the prompt, I give the name of the company, I give the ticker name, and this is the entire prompt, right? So it is a very detailed, full-scale prompt. It gives me an information because this is another checklist which I've got, that once it gets all the information and the prompt, it will check with me so that I can confirm back to it that it has found the price of this particular stock to be 1550. It will give me all the main details that I want, and then it will stop. And then it will ask me and check with me that can you please confirm these numbers, provide the daily chart, etc. And after which I give this, I give the correct numbers, I give the Excel sheet which I have, and then it produces the entire result for me, which includes executive conclusion. I've got a tier rating, which talks about is it strategically positioned. And I've got 4 quadrants, which I've fed into Gemini already, so it knows what it is going to talk about. So on a strategic position, it is a star company. Quarterly momentum, it's a star company. And all I need to do is go through this, right? Now, it also tells me, actionable entry framework. So I've defined what it means to me and whether it fulfills my criteria of an actionable framework, right? So it will analyze the company, analyze the quarterly results, annual results, and tell me, no, you better wait for a pullback, right? So this is one area. Second, you would see a lot of pins and a lot of different headings and titles on this particular area, right? So one is the global chessboard, of course. Now, global chessboard, I'll give you an example of one of the things which I do here. Oops. I was trying to find out how to...
Sushant, we are sort of running short
Oh,
of
that's
time.
okay.
So how
So
about
if-
do you kind of summarize what you wanted to
Perfect.
say
So,
that now? Yeah.
so I use it for, of course, the stock market area. Second, I use it for geopolitical stuff. What is the Bank of Japan's role in the entire de-dollarization, connecting the dots? So I've got all the prompts ready for different things, weekly, daily basis. And third, I use it for my professional area also. And this might be of, I'll take probably just a minute on this. For example, if someone wants to find out what is the parental leave as per the employment law of New Zealand, the simplest way to do it is go to the legislation.govt.nz site, pick up the employment law, put it in ChatGPT or Gemini, and ask questions. It's an easy way of getting a ready-made answer to that 500 pages act and stuff like that, right? That is one way you can use as an employee in an organization to figure out what can happen. And to conclude, what I'll only say is that, and taking it from Antara's, what she suggested, AI is going to take over the world, take the jobs away. No, it will not. Jobs will change, definitely. We have people from my age group or probably older than me, we have seen computers getting introduced in the organizations. My first job as an chartered accountant foundational student, I used to sit with the audit books, which were 500 pages thick, 5 pages. It all got converted into digital space with computers. The jobs remained, the shape and form of the jobs changed. So don't get scared that the AI is going to take the world, take my job away. It will not. It will change for sure. So keep pace, keep trying, try different things. Don't give your personal information, of course, but do not get scared of AI at all. It is here to stay, whether we like it or we don't. Cool. Thank you. That was a fast supersonic speed, but
I know, and sorry I had to cut down a little bit, but yeah, it's awesome to see that you are actually using and applying these things, and there's only we can learn more as we start to use this, right? So thank you, Sushant. Now I would like to go to Sachin, and before I go there, Jiten, you are up next, and just please think about your part, as in we do want to cover that demo or not, just in the light of we are slightly pressed for time. But meanwhile, I'll go to Sachin. And Sachin, so Sachin is very experienced, solution architect and enterprise architect, and he has got a lot of technical understanding and knowledge. But what Sachin, in light of what we heard already about AI, it will be great if you can focus from the give your perspective in terms of how is AI likely to affect IT jobs. And many of us in the community are in the IT field, where we had some questions from someone as well as to how testing roles might change, or what's the future of work looks like in that regard. So if possible, but yeah, over to you, Sachin. Thank you.
Very quickly, Gartner are projected by 2042.
Yeah.
The jobs that we know today in IT would have all gone. Only 5% of those will remain. And this is a Gartner direct prediction. So sorry, I know that there is a lot of optimism about the current jobs that's sitting here, but in terms of IT professional jobs, only 5% of the current style of jobs will remain. That does not mean new type of jobs will not be created, but the coding job, for instance, the way we heard about coding jobs, it's unlikely to continue. The testing job that you mentioned, the tools are advancing at a space that is unbelievable. And what is called as a functional testing job may be taken over by robots. So when I say robots, they are not the kinds that are built with metals and stuff. These are bots that are otherwise agents in AI agents. We talked about agentic AI in your slide. The agentic AI system will take over in the testing area. These are all predictions, and Gartner has proven to be wrong in a lot of areas. So take it with a pinch of salt. So Gartner, having said that, Gartner has been reasonable in producing. If I were to go counter check Forrester in this area, Forrester also conquers more or less. If I go further up the food chain in terms of consulting organizations, McKinsey, or for that matter, Bull Allen, they are actually no longer betting on traditional IT firms. IBM is never bet upon anymore. So people like innovators like our friends in ChatGPT, or for that matter, even Grok from Elon Musk, are being bet upon a lot more. Mainly because of not their current generative capabilities, but because their RAG capabilities and a replacement of what otherwise is called trained AI, which we talked about a lot. But generative AI with retrieval augmentation has the capability to replace training 100%. And that's where a lot of money is going in. So that RAG AI is where the job replacement combined with agentic AI is the main focus. Yeah, so for me, all of these are professional learning opportunities. But beyond that, apart from the fact that every time I touch a computer, AI is omnipresent. Like for instance, what used to be Google search is no longer Google search. I get first answer from Gemini, and it make about 45% of times it's wrong. I can be
so in your view, as IT professionals or young professionals who are getting into IT or careers, how should we protect ourselves so that we learn and work along AI? Do you have any thoughts on that?
We actually already see that the IT courses are changing. If you looked at about even a year back in Times of India's headlines, they could throw in ads halfway through. So all the IIM courses that they used to sell as a sponsored executive courses, were training on data science. Not a single ad of data science turns up nowadays. That's only AI ads turn up. So simply put, the entire learning industry is shifting towards AI and towards RAG AI. Again, a lot more an agentic AI. Atul loves his Tesla, and his driverless component is an agentic AI. Okay, so let's put it this way. Simply put, there are usages that are already known. That's fundamentally the case.
Yeah. Cool. So just for people who don't know the agentic AI, I mean, a simple example of that is it's a goal-driven thing. For example, in agentic AI, you might tell that I have a goal to make a Europe trip. and this is my constraint, this much time, money, blah blah blah, and it will actually go away and break that down goal into in terms of what needs to happen and prepare an itinerary. And if you give it credit card, it will go ahead and book things for you as well. So it's kind of, the entire end-to-end things automated through an agentic AI. And that's just one simple example, but these will pop up everywhere. But they do need some coding sometimes, some low code or no code. But yeah, that's the technology that Sachin is talking about. Before we wind up, anything else you want to add there, Sachin?
And that's, I think, the topic is vast, so we
Yeah.
can keep on talking. That's it.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you, Sachin. Appreciate that. Yeah, and we can do more deep dive sessions, and certainly Sachin will have a lot more to offer in that those sorts of sessions. So thank you. Now over to Jitendra. Jitendra is also one of the guys who's been playing with AI. So I will let you introduce yourself, Jitendra, and when you want. And Jitendra has a demo that might seem a little bit technical on the face of it, but it's actually an example. I understand that how particular model can be used for specific purposes. So it might be still of interest. It's about 5 minutes. So I'll let you make a call on that, Jitendra. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So what I will do is that I will make my discussion just for a minute or two, and then we can go to the demo. So yeah, so I'm Jitendra, solution architect, and whatever Sachin has mentioned here, I completely agree with that. The way the AI is changing and the way the development is happening in the background and the amount of investment, we don't know what shape the AI is going to take in next 2 years' time. If you see in last 2 years' time, AI has changed significantly, impacting each and every field, disrupting not only the coding industry, but the music industry, the film industry, and you just name it. And this agentic AI and the RAG-based AI, which is coming, they are offering much more capable model. So I do consider our mind as a model. So let's say my mind is like a model which has so many neurons, 85 billion neurons. It has its own data. It has its own connection based on which it forms the model. So the AI takes the similar approach that they form the model. Now that model is a digital model. My mind is a biological model. Those two are different. But this different doesn't mean that one is good or the another is bad. No, these are the two different things. And the way I'm thinking, the way my mind is being trained now, my mind is being trained in the last 40 years to think in a particular way. These AI models are being trained in few months to think and to respond in a certain way. So one can imagine the way these things are being evolving, and so I can't imagine the shape. So, but for a common man, what we can do is that we can keep our eyes open and try to sort of keep on learning as much as we can learn on AI. Keep on using it. Keep on talking about it, and just keep on taking the benefit of it. So I think I'll just stop there, and then we can go to the demo.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
So I'll play the demo now. Hopefully you can hear the sound.
Now, this is a very basic and fundamental demonstration of an AI model. Many people might be aware of it, but I'm just sharing in case someone is not. I had purchased a plus subscription for ChatGPT, which cost me about 20 USD per month. Now, this is a generic model which will respond to my questions based on the generic information on the internet. Now, if I want to create a specific model for my own purpose, I can go to GPTs and I can click on the create here, and it will open a configuration page here. So now in the configuration page, I can give here a name for my own purpose, and I can sort of give it the instructions, and I can include this other files so that the search or the information is a specific information which I will get for my own purpose. I had created a customized channel for myself. This is an explore oneself model for spirituality and for the well-being. And if I go to the configuration part of this customized model, you can see here in this one, I had included some instructions here, and I had included some files here. Now this 2-zip file contains all the documents, all the PDFs, which I want this customized model to refer to while answering my questions. So this first zip file contains hundreds of uh, books and reading material around spirituality. And this is like my writings and my analysis I had done based on my work. And I had given the instructions to this model saying that while responding, your first priority should be to refer the Word document which I had attached in this model. And I had also asked this model that while responding, consider the teachings of Sant Tukaram, Naneshwar, and Osho Rajneesh, and Raman Maharshi, and all those authors, and also use the concept from as a generic science and yoga and quantum mechanics and all those things, and some more additional commands here. So while responding to my questions, this model will first refer to my instructions, will first refer to the content which is there in this zip files. Then it will respond in that context to me, so that instead of a very generic information, I get a very sort of an context specific information for my own purpose. Now, this explore oneself model I had used to develop my own YouTube channel here. So you can see here, this is my explore oneself YouTube channel, and all the content here has been sort of originated from that customized model. Of course, I had used the other AI tools like Suno AI and Revit ID AI and other stuff, but this customized model is my source of idea generations and to do the brainstorming around this specific topic. So similarly, anyone can do this. So say for example, a travel agent can give a specific instructions that, hey, please respond to me only for the travel offers, only in the Europe or only in the Asia Pacific. We can include the files here about the travel information, about the content around the travel blogs and offers going on, and what are the visa requirements for the travel in the particular country. So all those information we can include into these files, so that this travel agent AI model will respond in that context. And if you don't find the information in these files here, then it can also do the web search and the other search to sort of create the content. And similarly, this usage can be extended from the travel agent, say, to an advocate or to an estate agent, or say to a software developer who is doing the development work, say, for example, on .NET.
Awesome, Jitendra. Yeah, the great effort you've taken to record the demo and show us that, what's possible. The key takeaways for me is, as you can see, those instructions were not in your code. Basically, they are plain English language instructions. So this is sort of the capability of these tools. Anyone can use them if you start applying yourself to those. So that's awesome, and very specific use case as well. So thank you, Jitendra. Now, I'll probably move to our last but not least panelist, Shantanu Kirtikar. Now, Shantanu comes from a completely different perspective. He and Minoti, they are business owners, and Shantanu, I know, has some interest in just sort of reading about AI as well. So, Shantanu, are you able to give us your take on AI and
Yeah. Yeah, good evening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for having me on this panel here. Now, at this moment in time, we really don't use AI as a specific tool in our business. Okay, we've come across it. We've had a look at what it can do for us. The main the main area in which we can see it working for us is in note taking and keeping of records. The problem that we see, or one of the reasons we have not taken that up, is we are not quite sure about how secure the data is. So because we are involved in the paramedical field, we have to be really careful about privacy of our client's data. Okay, we can't have somebody's name associated with some medical condition. Just as the rule, that's the first thing. The second issue for us is if we are going to use that and we put it into a large language model and use that to create our notes, we don't know if that information will compromise anything else for our client in a completely unrelated field. Okay, so we might use it to create our notes. Are we sure that a medical condition that we identify in our notes is not going to stand up, or not going to cause this person a problem if they put their CV in it and send this, and somebody analyze their CV on a similar net-based tool, right? So if somebody, just for example, okay, if somebody comes to me and says, look, I have a problem hearing in meetings, if I associate that with the person, will that be read against his CV in some way I have no idea about, and he be not included in a short list there? Okay, so that's something we are really quite unsure about, and we would rather keep our clients safe than keep ourselves make things easier for ourselves. So it's their welfare is more important than convenience for us. Okay, so that's the first thing there. Okay, the second thing in terms of technology is I am completely aware that AI is moving really, really, really fast. Okay, but at the same time, I'm quite aware that technology seems to promise a lot more, lot quicker than it actually delivers. Okay. Just for example, when we started out, Minoti and I started working, she's working much before me, but when we started working together about 10 years back, okay, in our field, we were told, oh, now you're going to have automated systems coming in where your work is going to be completely irrelevant. People are just going to, take an app, look at it on the app, they're going to sort their problem on the app, put something in their ears, and they're done with it. They won't need you. That technology is available, but it hasn't been, at this moment in time, the threat that it was made out to be. I have no doubt that in the future it will happen. It will affect people, but the speed at which it affects people promise more than it actually delivers. Okay? Just for example, the same thing in autonomous cars. 5 years back, if you actually looked at that, they said, oh, you won't need truck drivers anymore because everything's going to be self-driving. It's at this moment only in San Francisco do they have self-driving taxis. It's not anywhere, not even on the horizon yet. Okay? So the technology promises a lot, it doesn't deliver. Okay? The same thing in terms of jobs being upset. The jobs that I can see AI affecting immediately are knowledge-based. So, the IT field, of course, that's hugely affected by what AI is doing. But there are lots of jobs that really have no relevance to it. Like one of my friends is the property manager for, not a property, he's the landscape manager for a sports field. Okay? it has no relevance to his job. So when people are saying, I'm going to be out of a job or things going to happen, yes, but it's going to be in specific fields. Okay? So that's something that's going to be happening in the knowledge industry. What I am not sure about is how it transfers into manufacturing. So how are you going to, your AI is knowledge based. How are you going to get into manufacturing? Okay? Because unless you get AI into manufacturing and get into robotics, it's not going to affect your day-to-day life. I mean, I can't get AI to fold my clothes and iron my clothes yet. Right? That's where it actually would make a difference to my quality of life. I don't want it to making my shopping lists. I can do that. I wanted to do the boring stuff. Okay. Ironing my clothes, washing, that kind of stuff. It's not going to happen, not in the near future. Right. Then if you start looking at it from that point of view, robotics is going to be really, really, really important. When you start getting AI into machines to actually start doing work for you. The moment you get into robotics and manufacturing, you get into this whole thing of what Sushant was talking about, of geopolitics. Who manufactures the robot? Who controls the technology? Can you have your opponents controlling the technology? It's not gonna, it's going to be it's a field that's going to be really interesting to watch. Okay. USA and China are they're not going to let the ball into other person's court, so to speak. They're not going to let the power out. Okay. And that gets me to my actually the final point of AI. See, everybody's talked about how it does this thing in computers and that in computers and stuff like that. Where I see it really affecting is when AI gets, see, in human history, the biggest driver of technology has been creation of weapons historically. That's where we've really driven your NASA space program, your internet. All these things were actually designed as tools to facilitate weapon creation. Okay? And then it has had spin-offs. So the people who will actually create effective robots are people who make weapons.
Which is dangerous.
Which is dangerous.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what. No? So historically, in use of technology, humans have been very good at looking at an issue, solving a problem, right? We are very, very good at doing problem solving, but we are very poor at looking at the consequences of what that thing does, right? We can make really good autonomous weapons that will go and fly across the thing and identify targets and shoot them up. We should be able to do that pretty soon now. Should we do
already
that?
happening? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's really where AI will go. The rest of it is, it's going to happen like, what I think Sushant was talking about it. When we started off, computers weren't there. Now they've come in. Jobs they've just changed. So,
just
work.
So
that's
will change. Yeah.
That's my take on it. When we get into making really good AI weapons, that's when it will really start making a difference. Okay.
Thanks, Shantanu. And I think there are those the robo vacuum cleaners are there. Certainly, there is some help available.
Yes, but it doesn't empty itself.
Yeah. All right. So cool. Thank you very much, Shantanu.
Thank you.
We just run out of time now. So in the presentation that I was sharing, there are certain use cases and a few more slides available that we will share that presentation with everyone. My big thanks to everyone on the panel and putting a lot of effort. And I know there are some good comments and questions as well that we don't have time to go through. But I just want to basically Thanks to everyone on the panel, and thank you everyone who attended the session today. The session is being recorded, so it will be shared on our website. We would love your feedback as well through the WhatsApp groups, as well as we might do some post-event poll regarding next steps or anything more or such event that you would like. We can try and organize those.
Yeah, such a great session, guys. Such a great session. Congratulations, Sunil. Combine all these people from various fields and bringing them together. Great effort. So thank you. Kudos to you. Thank you all panelists. Your preparation and your vision has helped to understand quite a lot of directions from AI perspective. There could be a number of questions. There could be a different opinion on everything, which is fine. If you are interested, आपण परत एखादा डीप डाइव सेशन करू शकतो कुठल्या तरी स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक वर. पण congratulate all of us for such a different way of talking to people. आणि एखादा टॉपिक घेऊन त्याच्यावर बोलणं हे इतकं महत्वाचं आहे, कारण आपण नॉर्मली बोलतो पण आपलं जेवणामध्ये जास्त लक्ष असतं, आणखीन मग अशा इंटेन्स टॉपिकवर आपण फार बोलत नाही. त्याच्यामुळे हे असे सेशन्स पुढे चालू राहावेत अशी अपेक्षा आहे. त्याच्यामुळे जर तुम्हाला कोणालाही एखाद्या कुठल्या पर्टिक्युलर टॉपिकवर अशी चर्चा घडावी असं वाटत असेल तर प्लीज WMI कमिटीला कॉन्टॅक्ट करा. वी विल डेफिनेटली विल बी एबल टू अरेंज दॅट. For example, how to manage funds, Sushant, how to manage your investments, or for example, whether how to manage your retirement, or what is happening in Wellington City Council, or what do you think about the cycleways? Whatever you think, if you have any
or
idea,
even healthcare, for example. I mean, we are all getting into that age where we will need healthcare.
Going into that. So that is what we will do. So please reach out. But again, Sunil, thank you very much. All the panelists, thank you very much.
And special thanks to our young panelists today, Antara, Sumed, and Jay. Really great to have you guys on board. You are our future, so definitely look forward to learning more from you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Good. Thank you.
So just reach out and well, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Great session, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you very much.